Hi, I'm going to talk about electronic harassment and mind control. It's a public disclosure notice for a sonic weapon warning. All this information can be found at MindControlInformation.blogspot.com. Certain groups have the ability to monitor your thoughts, speak to your mind remotely, and apply energy to your brain in an effort to make you feel a certain way or motivate you in a manipulated direction. All of this is done wirelessly from a distance with directed energy. A great deal of people have complained to authorities about this, only to be turned away without a report or documentation or direction to go for assistance. In fact, they have been made to look delusional to legitimate law enforcement organizations and doctors and mocked by them for seeking help and warning them and the public of the existing dangers. The attacks begin and are disguised with the symptoms of a mental illness. People that are targeted or provoked, informed they are being targeted, and then left helpless to explain to family, friends, law enforcement, and doctors that they are the victim of a psychological attack with a weapon the public is not aware of. Intelligent targets look to the internet for answers to discover they are the recipient of electronic harassment. Electronic harassment is an attempt to describe the attacks as harassment, when in fact it is an attack with mind control exercises embedded. Involuntary subjects are manipulated with directed energy weapons from afar to achieve unbiased results. Their intentions are disguised by appearing like a nuisance, electronic harassment, which distracts and misinforms the target and public that they hope to achieve total control of the ability to manipulate your mind as they please. In an effort to further disguise the intention of mind control, some of the source of attacks are attributed to gangstalking or organized gangstalking, which is the false belief that a group of individuals is stalking, sabotaging, and terrorizing your life. It is a good example of misleading or false information. Gang stalking is a major subject on the internet, when in fact it is a perpetuated falsehood. They have the ability to mimic voices and create sounds and use these abilities to construct uncomfortable scenarios with people within earshot, usually neighbors. They instigate disagreements and perceived conflicts that cannot be resolved because they are an implanted figment of their imagination. Anybody that has access to a weapon of this ability would never risk getting caught and exposed coming anywhere near someone they are targeting. The targeted person is unaware of the capabilities and assigns blame to gang stalking. Electronic harassment and gang stalking serve to misinform the public and the targeted individual of the intention and source of the harassment. This prevents medical professionals and law enforcement from adequately addressing and assisting in the target individual's needs. Furthermore, the disinformation keeps the people responsible, the source of the crime, from being exposed, stopped, and prosecuted. Electronic harassment disrupts the flow of society and can incite violence. The number of domestic terrorism incidents has increased exponentially recently and are being conducted by American citizens rather than religious fanatics. The only thing capable of aggravating a person to a point where they would want to incur so much damage are directed energy weapons. These people, in essence, have been stripped of all that is important to them, their lives, are being held hostage, and are going out in a blaze of glory because they have no place to turn. They have had their lives and dignity taken from them, and no one is available to help them. As a result, the best and only defense against these attacks is a thorough awareness, sound understanding of the capabilities, a reliable supporting network, and a free flow of information. Unwitting people can be rendered unstable, making society less safe for everyone. What needs to be done is a coordinated effort to organize the victims into a group to rally lawmakers to make a difference and bring about change. People have tried long enough to individually bring about change to no avail. The people capable of making a difference will not do so until they are approached by strength in numbers, a group they cannot ignore. Furthermore, the medical community is not appropriately educated as to how to address the needs of all people that have been targeted. Medical professionals are not trained to distinguish between mental illness and a simulated mental illness, so they end up incorrectly treating their patients. One easy way to test for the difference between electronic harassment and mental illness is to simply ask the person whether the number of different voices they hear at any given time varies. Mental illness can vary from 1 to 5. Electronic harassment victims or targeted individuals always hear 2 different voices constantly at any given time. Should you encounter any of these issues, I have conducted a review of the related websites listed at the end of the blog at MindControlInformation.blogspot.com. They provide as much information and advice as possible, but beware, in some cases, way too much information. There is not much assistance available. Some of the information available on the internet is misleading, incorrect, intimidating, and scary. It is important to read verified information rather than speculation. There are also online petitions and newsletters that can be signed up for to start getting involved. Please develop your own independent opinion by verifying what you hear before taking anything for granted. A web of disinformation and misinformation exists to confuse, terrorize, and mislead. Some of the owners of the sites may be unwittingly spreading the wrong information, and some may be planted to lead readers in the wrong direction. What you need to know before proceeding. Electronic harassment is another term for attempted mind control. They are disguising their objective with harassment. Gang stalking and organized gang stalking, or stalking, is not real, a constructed perception, and an implanted figment of the imagination. No one comes remotely close to your physical location. Voices are mimicked, and odd occurrences are claimed by your harassment. Microwave burns are a ricochet off your brain and not a microwave potato gun hitting you through the wall next door. They trigger your brain to heat your body in strategic locations, causing the redness you see. Any implants found are not necessarily associated with the harassment because everything is wireless. Not enough is known about the science to convince anyone effectively that an implant could be related to your harassment. Lastly, intelligence agencies and the government are not responsible for electronic harassment because of the liability. The blame or fault lies with private entities or contractors. The government may be complicit by ignoring complaints made by harassed citizens, however. I have included all this information and much more at MindControlInformation.blogspot.com. gmail.blogspot.com. If you would like to email me, you can reach me at mindcontrolinformation@gmail.com. Again, the blog is mindcontrolinformation.blogspot.com, and the email is mindcontrolinformation@gmail.com. Wish you all the best of luck, and I hope this all gets resolved soon.